So this is a journal, reflective journal about the case studies. I didn't realize it was due on November 6th, but I've been behind. So anyways, I just kind of rewatched the live session. Pretty sure I was there for it, but I couldn't remember the situation. So I went back and watched it on like Fast Play to get the like the replay, so I could just reflect on these. I'm trying to look at 23 minutes for each of the case studies. Okay, so with Amy, she is in the water, she's pushing, and we think maybe she might have a cervical lip. That is something that I've dealt with a little bit in my preceptorship. I was able to reduce a cervical lip. It's very difficult in a pool though, or like in ours anyways, because we only have an inflatable birth tub, and it's just so awkward to do a vaginal exam or reduce a cervical lip or any of that. So, I mean, we do the best we can, right? My preceptor's 72 years old, so she has a hard time bending over. She still does it, but she has a hard time doing it, and I am not a pro at cervical exams, but I have reduced the lip one time. So anyways, that would be something that I would think about, especially, my preceptor's pretty good about, like, like looking at the whole situation, like, is it a primip? How long has she been pushing? Particularly because I feel like in primips, there's no, I'm sorry, buddy. Put it under cold water. Cold water. Sorry. In primips, I feel like there's a bigger, obviously, variety of, or not variety, but bigger scope of pushing situation. So with multip, it's more like, okay, she's been pushing for like 15-20 minutes. What's going on? Like, we need to do a little bit more digging to see if there's something going on. So definitely empty the bladder, makes sense. And then after the baby's born, obviously skin to skin, before, well, with anybody giving birth, just about, it seems like at this point you really got to give a lot of reassurance. We call it the verbal anesthesia. Like, you really have to kind of drag them over the finish line sometimes. So anyways, this seems like a very normal, we have like, I feel like 99% of our births have been like this, thankfully, knock on wood. Very normal birth, a very happy birth. With Bess, the potential toilet birth, I've delivered a baby, not on the toilet yet, but with the mom hugging the toilet. So not even like sitting on the toilet backwards, but she just knelt down beside the toilet and just kind of grabbed onto the bowl and squatted and pushed the baby out. It was like baby number 7, and she was 46 years old. So that was kind of cool. I've got like a wide range now, a 16-year-old all the way up to a 46-year-old. Anyways, so that was like probably the easiest birth that I've ever been to so far. But anyways, so yeah, I would just be like we did with her. We just grab towels, grab chucks, whatever we could grab, equipment, not necessarily like, cord clamps or anything, but I like to have the suction bulb close to me, and just be ready. And everything seemed okay with this birth. So we have a lot of births like that. So that one's another one that's just kind of straightforward. With Claire, I have not attended a breech yet. So I don't have a whole lot of, I don't feel like I have a whole lot of, say-so in any of the breech situations yet. I've been prepped for it. I have researched it a little bit. I have looked at listened to several podcasts and other, resources on how to attend to a breech. It's not legal in our state, so we would definitely want to get 911 on the phone, and just get ready, because if the baby's already rimping, then we know that the baby's going to come soon. I definitely would want to grab the oxygen. I'd want to have the mask ready. I feel like instinctively do that sometimes, which is weird. I've only had to resuscitate one baby so far, But there's certain situations where I don't know why it just clicks in my brain. I'm like, I should grab the oxygen, because we don't really keep it set up, but we have it close by. So there's been a few times where I've just went and got everything and put it in a chair, made me feel better, like a chair beside the bed or whatever. It made me feel better to have it readily available. So we had one it was a month ago today, actually, that we had to resuscitate, and she also had a hemorrhage. So I was like, oh my gosh, all the skills in one day. But we managed everything. She still didn't have to transfer. We got her stable, got the baby stable, and they still went home about 6 or 7 hours after the birth. We did IV fluids and things like that. So anyways, after 911 gets there, I would assume the baby's already out. Our EMTs are literally across the street, so maybe not, but I would assume the baby would be out, especially since she's a multip, and I would just want to be doing a quick assessment, just like they said, and hopefully EMT will be nice enough to just leave, as long as everybody's good and the family's good with that. I've had a run-in with EMT only one time so far, and I've been at my preceptorship for year and a half maybe, and we've only had one situation. It was an accidental home birth, and the mom was fine, and she called me actually, and she was like, I just had the baby at home, and I was already at the birth center, and this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I turned around and came back home, because she's literally like three doors down from me and my neighbor on base. And so I came back here with the midwife, and by the time we got there, I could hear the husband on the phone. She was like, I just had the baby at home. And so I was just like, I hear him crying. He sounds good. Stimulate him, wrap him up. Don't touch the cord, like just trying to give her some feedback on what to do right then. I was like, we're grabbing our supplies. We'll be right there. The husband, on the other hand, had the kids downstairs. This is not related to the case. Sorry. Had the kids their other kids, trying to get them in the car. And like I said, this was around midnight. He heard her scream, and he went back inside, and the baby's like laying on the floor. So he immediately called 911, and the base EMTs came, and they were pretty rude, and they just kept pressing us to transfer. And I was like, so anyways, my preceptor's like, she's not transferring. Everything's fine. The baby's fine. The mom's fine. We did a little assessment on all of them. She was already doing sutures on the mom. By the time that they just would not give up. We have to transfer. That's our protocol. That's our protocol. I mean, it's the Marine Corps. So, anyways, it ended up the mom signed AMA or something of that nature, where she was like, I don't want you guys here. Like, it's fine. There was like 20 Marines in her room, and she's like bleeding on the floor. It was kind of crazy. I'm like, can you guys please get out? But anyways, they ended up leaving, and then coincidentally, the fire chief, the one who insisted that we transfer, his daughter ended up giving birth at our birth center about 2 months later, and he was her biggest cheerleader. He was her biggest coach. I've never seen a dad that involved with a birth so far, like the grandfather, obviously, of the baby, so like her dad. I've never seen that, and it was really interesting, and now she's pregnant again, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, that's all I can think about for those reflections.